please indulge me while I take you to my backyard one more time, because I realized the other day after I finished my little sitting area with the bench and the fire pit that I needed to add one more thing to make this complete back here, and that is a bird feeder. Now, while I had planned in my mind to build one out of some scrap wood and some other things and to hang bird feeders back there, I realized I kind of had the right makings already sitting there in front of me and didn't even realize it. Why not use the DirecTV dish that's sitting there? Why not take the dish off and use that post and that mounting bracket? It'll save me from having to dig the pole up and take the DirecTV dish out, and it'll save me from having to dig another hole to install a bird feeder. Why not just make it all in one, a one-stop shop, and just use that post that's already there? Let's go outside and look at everything. It was here the whole time. I never even thought about it. Why not just make this work as the bird feeder? It's all about energy, folks. I was going to expend a lot of energy trying to dig this up. I had a feeling, not sure, I had a feeling though that there may be some cement down in there and that I was going to have to somehow get the post out of the cement if it unscrewed and I could just leave the cement in the ground, or worse, I was going to have to dig down far enough to get cement out of the ground and to pull this thing out. And then I was going to go over there and dig a hole to put probably a bag of cement in and to put a pole and to make a bird feeder. Why do that? Why take a whole day to do something that I might could just do in a few minutes? So I'm walking out here, and this is the first time I've looked at this. I'm going to be looking at it with y'all. What I'm thinking is get rid of this dish part, and it unscrews right there. And then this mounting plate could stay on there. And let me see. I'm pulling on it right now to see if it rotates up, and it's not moving, but I think that's because it's set on a certain rotation. I think if I moved this and moved it up like that this whole plate would kind of come up. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that once I undo screws and everything, I can take this and go like this with it. And what I'm thinking, my brain's just going 90 miles an hour. Well, there's no screws there at the bottom. The dish just slides off of that side. So really, I only have 2 screws to work with. But I will have holes there that I could make a screw. Might put a screw up through there, is what I'm saying. My brain's working ahead of myself. What I'm thinking is, if I take it and make it flat, and I have this mounting bracket that's flat, I could put a couple of boards mounted to that mounting bracket, and I could screw my 2 metal dishes that I have that I was going to use to make a bird feeder and bird waterer out of. I could screw them using some self-tapping nails that have rubber gaskets, and then using some sealant, and screw them to this mounting bracket. And so they would be sitting on top of it. The bowls would be sitting on top of the boards. I see that this thing here, this long thing, has a screw I can take off. So I could even use that screw hole for something if I needed to. And then this wire would come off with everything. I'm just thinking. I'm gonna go inside and I'm gonna get the bowls that I'm telling you about, and I want to show you what I'm talking about, and maybe it'll make a little more sense. In the end, it may not look that great. I'm thinking it will though, but we'll just have to see. It won't cost me a penny to just see. The thing is, when I'm looking from that window, that's my kitchen window, and I'm looking down here, I can see all of this. I can see all of this big dish thing. I can really only see the top of the pole, and then it just goes to the ground out of my view of the window. Okay, so let me go grab these bowls inside, and then I'll kind of lay it out and show you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if I take 2 boards, 2 going across one part where I have the screw holes for them, the other one going across the other 2 holes that I have, and secure 2 boards there. I will trim this end. These aren't trimmed, sanded, or anything. I just grabbed them out of my scrap pile just now. But I was thinking I might put these 2 bowls on top of them. I looked in my closet the other day and did not have anything that I could use. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go buy something, or maybe look at a thrift store and see if I can find anything. And on Halloween night, my daughter said, hey, you left these 2 pans over here when you brought canned food. When I preserve things and I make pickles and stuff, these are the perfect little pans to put those pint jars in to take over to her house when I'm bringing her something. And she said, you left these 2 at the house, so here, I'm giving them back to you. As soon as I looked at them, I'm like, there's my bird feeder and my bird waterer. So that's what I'm going to use them for. These are just cheap bowls that I got at Walmart a while back. We were hosting a shower, and I used some linen napkins with fall theme in them, and we served bread in them, like rolls to go with the sauce piquant and the crawfish etouffee we were serving. So these were just bought for that. They weren't for any specific reason. I don't cook in them or anything like that. But I think they'll make perfect bird feeders and a bird waterer. And my friend suggested that I put some rocks in the middle of it to give the birds something to stand on. And so that's a great idea. Now say that one will have water in it. I don't need holes in it, obviously, because it needs to hold water. And if it spills over, no big deal if it rains a whole lot. For this one, I'm gonna have to cut some little holes, probably like say along the edges, and then a few holes down the middle so that water doesn't stand in it when it has bird feed in it and stuff. You don't want your bird feed all floating out of it. I'm a complete amateur when it comes to bird feeders because I've never had one before. And I was shocked yesterday when I went into my local Ace Hardware to buy some bird food. It was so expensive. Some of the bags were like $19.99, $17.99 just for a little bag of food. And it was usually targeted towards a specific bird, you know, like cardinals or buntings and things like that. And I just wanted something generic for a lot of different kinds of birds. And luckily, when I went in there yesterday, they were having a sale on their big bags of their Ace brand bird food. It's just their wild bird food. And it says here, it attracts all kinds of birds, like bluebirds, which I have, cardinals, which I have, chickadees, grosbeaks, blue jays, bluebirds, nuthatches, finches, sparrows, and other desirable birds. So that's what I needed, just something kind of generic. And these were 20-pound bags, so I got 2, so I have 40 pounds of food for $22. I thought that was a good price. They may have it a lot cheaper at Walmart and such. I just don't go to Walmart a whole lot, and I'm not going to run there every time I need bird food. Walmart's farther away for me. I'm just going to run to my local Ace if I need some things like this. I like to support my local stores as much as possible. But just going by what all their other bags were for smaller bags, their sale they were having on this, I still think was a pretty good price. So 40 pounds of bird food for $22. I'll take that. Well, hey everybody, I'm just now getting back out here to start on my little bird feeder project. It is actually 3 days later from when I made my first little videos the other day. And I was making them kind of in a hurry because I had my young grandsons coming over to spend the night with me after that. And I have not had time this morning to even review, so I'm really not even sure what I said, but I'm pretty sure I had kind of explained to you the fact that I was trying to make use of what I had, this post that's sitting here in my yard with a mounting bracket on top of it, ready to go. So why not use that? And I don't know why this didn't occur to me to begin with. It just didn't. All I could think of was this big DirecTV dish was ugly, and I needed to get it moved, and I needed it out of my way so that I wouldn't be looking down here on it. Well, the dish will be moved, but in its place on this stand, I'm hoping today to put the boards and the little bowls and everything and make a bird feeder. And I'm kind of short on time today, so I'm going to kind of rock and roll with it and try to get done the best I can get done in this few hours that I have. I'm probably not going to film a whole lot more words to it. I'm just going to kind of show you little things I'm doing. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I never know how anything's going to turn out. I just know what I have. I have right now my little ratchet that I'm fixing to take this dish off with. I've got boards, I've got the bowls that I have the rocks out of my yard, I got the bird food the other day, and I'm just gonna rock and roll with it and see how it comes out. It may not be the most gorgeous bird feeder idea ever, but I think it'll be okay. I think it'll work and it'll be fine, and I think the birds will really appreciate it. Well, for part 25 of my Nothing is Easy series, this thing doesn't tilt back all the way. It'll tilt a little bit. It'll tilt a little bit. It'll tilt there, and that's it. It won't tilt anymore. And I've analyzed it to death. There's no screws or anything that I can undo to make it tilt any more than that. It just simply isn't made to go any farther back. That's just how far it goes. This part here is tapped out. It just won't let it go any farther back. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. I went inside, I looked for maybe things I could use to shim it with, and this, that, and the other. What I have decided, I'm just gonna try something. I'm gonna cut a 4x4. I can make it 6 inches long and fit it in this middle part. It can be 6 inches long this way. Of course, it'll be 3.5 inches tall, but when you're looking at the angle of this, I'm gonna try to use that height of the 4x4 to make a little base that I'm hoping my board will go across. This is just kind of an engineer. I'm always engineering stuff because I don't, I'm trying to make things work. I can come up through the bottom of this and screw into the 4x4 to attach the 4x4 to this. And then I can screw from the top to attach the board through these little holes and to the 4x4. So it'll have like 4 places where it's attached. And when I say board, I was going to use 2 boards, but I think now I may only be able to use 1 board just because of how this thing is. I'm going to go over there and get started cutting. All you can do is just proceed forward and see if it'll work. If it doesn't work, I'll have to figure out something else. I think technically I could take this whole thing off and just take it off and just have the pole sitting here, but that doesn't really give me the base that I need, so I'm trying to make this base work. Another little dilemma for Lainey. I'll try to figure it out. Okay, here's my little rig here. The only way that I could cut an angle on a 6-inch long 4x4 was to just cut it at one end. My saw won't let me rip it the whole way, and I didn't want to get out any other type of saw, skill saw or anything. So I just cut it off. I cut my little angle at that end, which really is all I need. I don't really need all this part back here anyway. Now, what is this doing? It's kind of trying to make a level playing field for me right there. You see, a level playing field to lay my bird feeder. One thing I noticed though while fooling with all this is the bird feeder is a little angled that way too. And that part I can't fix. That part I just can't figure out how to exactly angle it completely perfect horizontally. You can see it's a little off there. So I just can't get it to move. So my bird feeder is going to be a little tilted, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. These birds are going to appreciate this, I think. I think they're going to flock to it the minute I put food and water in it. Let me show you a little video of what happens when I run my sprinkler. Just that little bit of water from my sprinkler makes them so happy. So I think they're going to love this. Another project finished. This is the view from my window, which is the most important thing. I want to be able to see it. I can even open this side window and listen to the birds if I want to when they're out there. But the most important view that I really haven't shared with you is from my sliding glass door in my dining room. From here, I can see up close and personal what these feeders are going to look like and the birds that are in them. I'm very happy with it. I'm happy with how it came out, and I'm so pleased that I finally got this done after all this time. This is Lainey from Hilltop Home Place. I thank y'all so much for joining me on this last little project for my backyard spruce up. It meant a lot to me to get this bird feeder done, and I thank you for joining me for it. Y'all have a great day and stay free. Bye-bye.